Hi, my friends. I'm so glad you're here today. I have another Amanda here with me. So, welcome, Amanda. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you, and thanks so much for having me.
Yeah. Here we really like to share our stories and our journeys. And you're just starting to tell me about your journey and where you came from, which is a little bit different than where you are right now. So, right now you own Element 8, which is a coaching program. But how did you get here? What did that look like?
Yeah, so it was a bit of a strange road. Um, but my background is interior design. So I worked for a senior living company back in between 2007 and 2012. They had about 500 buildings all over the country. So I traveled all over doing renovations. And one of the things we really struggled with was sourcing accessories. And so we were running so hard and so fast that we always had to go shopping on site. And that was a pain and logistically painful in every single way. So come 2012, my husband had was in finance, but then actually decided to start a catering company on the side and it started taking off. So we reached this point where it was like, okay, we can't both keep working these corporate jobs. I was pretty burnt out from all the travel. I was never home. And so I went to my boss. I was like, listen, I can't keep working this job, but I'd like to keep a foot in the door. What if I sourced your accessories? And she said, yes. So they were my first client. So I started out of the back bedroom of our little Cape Cod house in Milwaukee. And over the years, grew it to more clients like them to the point that in 2021, I had a 5,000 square foot warehouse, 8 employees, some of the biggest clients in our industry. And I was miserable. It was the job or the business they say everyone dreams of, making 7 figures of revenue. Oh, it's so great. I hated it, but also I secretly hated it because I couldn't tell anybody because it was shameful to tell people that you have a successful business and you don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So my peak was we went on vacation for the first time since COVID in 2021. And I had a meltdown at dinner on the first night of vacation. And I shared all of this with my husband that I hated my business. I didn't want to do it anymore. And he's so great. He was like, whatever you want to do, I will support you. But maybe you should get some help to figure out how to get out, like how to move forward and get out of this. And so I had been working with a couple of coaches at the time. They both helped me in different ways figure out, like, obviously, I can't sell this thing tomorrow. So, what can we do to kind of like pull some of the pressure off, make this easier? Maybe if we make your business run better, you'll actually like it again. So, that's what we did over the span of a year. I changed my systems. I changed how we did business with people because a lot of things changed since 2020 with like supply chains and all that. So I basically changed the whole structure and got it to where we only needed half of the staff. I had to let go of a big client because the way we were working with them was just really labor heavy and it was costing us money. So I had to kind of audit everything, see what was working, what wasn't. Um, and so by the time we got, it was a year later, instead of working 70, 80 hour weeks, I was working 20, 30 hour weeks. I wasn't actually needed all the time. I wasn't the bottleneck anymore. Imagine that. And so it was much better. But in 2023, I started coaching on the side. A friend of mine said, you have all this entrepreneurial experience. I would love for you to do some coaching for some of my clients so I can, grow. And I said yes, and I loved it. So I was doing both things at the same time for a while, and that got really hard. And I realized that I did not have the passion for design that I used to either. And so in August of 2023, my lease was up on my design business. And so I just reached this point. I was like, you know what? I think I'm done. I think this is a perfect time to put it to bed and move on. So I did at that point. I had 2 employees running everything. So I ended up moving part of the business to another company. So they still run it. The rest I just kind of let die. I took 2.5 months off, which I'd never done in my life. And then I launched Element 8 in November of 2023. So now I work with women who were like me and that miserable, afraid to tell anybody how terrible it is. I give them the space to kind of talk through it and figure out, do we need to restructure things to make it better, or is it time to just do something completely different?
Wow. Yeah, that is a journey and so amazing. So many things I want to bring like loop back around to. And the first one is asking for what you need. I see that as a pattern in you over and over again, like being able to really realize what you need just from being able to ask your boss, like, hey, I don't want to travel, but I want to do that. And I feel like that could be scary. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I was terrible at it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, asking for help is something, it's so funny. It's like the thing you're bad at, you end up having to teach other people. And
That's true.
so I've gotten much better, but yeah, I think it just came to the point where I was like, I couldn't not ask for help anymore. Like there wasn't a way forward. I was going to end up in the hospital if I didn't ask for help. And I'm so thankful that my husband kind of gave me that permission in that moment of the meltdown of like,
Mhm.
you need to ask for help and figure this out. And the funny thing about help is like we're so afraid to ask for it because we think we're gonna be, it's all these things that we internalize, right? I'm gonna be in
Mhm.
burden, everybody's busy. I don't want to, do any of that. But I always ask my clients, I'm like, if somebody asked you for help, would you help them? And usually it's like, of course I would. Well,
Yeah.
why do you think it's gonna be any different?
And lots of times people really want to help, or it's an idea
Yes.
they've never even thought of that's going to make their business better or their life better, whatever it may be. Yeah.
Yeah, and I heard this somewhere too. They're like, you're taking that gift away from somebody of them not being able to help you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was
It's a
like,
huge
oh,
mind shift, but yes. Yeah.
yeah, like when you put it like that, I guess I should ask for help.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love that you did that. And that really led to you being able to pivot over and over again, which is something I have I have two stepdaughters. One is just in college and she's going for this for psychology, and I think it's amazing. And I think, but I also want you to know that that has a lot of different avenues and you can shift and shift and shift. And they've seen me do that. Like I am a high school teacher, but I also have learned Reiki, and then now I do Reiki coaching. Like you can keep pivoting in your life. You don't have to be stuck to something. And I think that's a huge mind shift that we have to kind of get over, a hurdle that we have to get over as well.
Yeah, and it's a weird thing. There's like shame that comes with it
Mhm.
because I
Mhm.
think of the way our society has been set up. Because, right, we all have the grandparents that were like, I worked for 50 years at this business and got my gold watch and get my
Mhm.
pension or whatever. But that is like, that's not reality anymore.
Mhm.
And I think it's like giving people the permission to say it's okay to have multiple interests. And
Mhm.
it's okay that like the thing you went to school for is not the thing that you're going to be doing forever. Or to your point, too, like in the world of the thing that you're doing, there's so many other avenues you could go in.
Yeah.
Like the friend I was just talking to this morning, she does interior design education. And that's one of the things they talk about. Like she has this book where literally it's all the different paths these people took from being an interior designer to working in like on TV shows for set design, or they're a manufacturer's rep, or they work in a firm. But yeah, there's so many different ways you can take it. And yeah, I think we have to be nicer to ourselves and each other and say, "Oh, you're changing? That's so great. How cool. I love it."
Yeah. Yeah. Nicer to ourselves for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last thing that really stuck out to me, and it's like right before I got on here with you, I was writing an episode about gratitude. I was talking to my friend. We took a family vacation, and in that family vacation, ironically to what you said, I just had a day where I was super depressed. And normally you might feel really awful about that. Like I am on this vacation, and I have everything I want, and I am still dealing with depression. And my friend was just going through that too. It sounds like you finally took a vacation and it hit you. It's kind of like when you let your guard down, when you let everything down, that hits you, and it's okay for that to happen, and it's okay for you to be like, I do have a lot of what I want, and I also would like this, and being grateful for being able to pivot, for being able to ask for what you want. So I thought that was ironic as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think with that too, it's like two things can be true at the same time, right? Like we can have a bad day, but our life can be really good.
Yeah.
And also, I will say with the like feeling that like depressed feeling, I think our world, like, yes, gratitude a million times. Sometimes too, it's okay to sit in that feeling
Hmm.
and just be like, okay, I'm feeling depressed, and that's okay. And then, because there's a statistic, it's like if you feel that feeling for like 90 seconds, it allows it to like flush out of your body
Yeah.
versus what do we do all the time? We're like, I don't have time to feel that right now. And you shove it down and you shove it down and you
Mm.
shove it
Yeah.
down. And so it just lives there and festers. So, on that vacation, it's like you can take those couple minutes and feel it. And then you can be like, okay, now I'm gonna go have fun with my family and I love them so much and everything is so great. I
Yeah.
think it's good to have both exist.
Yeah. And also be able to reflect on how come this is coming up now and where are these feelings coming from, and just being open and honest with yourself. I have Crohn's that I got in my 20s from definitely stuffing emotions and stress and all of that down. And what stress can do to your body is amazing. So when it does come to you, definitely letting it be there for a couple minutes, seeing where it comes from your body, and being able to really analyze it a little bit helps. And it seems like it really helped you find your way to this element 8.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and you mentioned Reiki. I like to joke that I love the practical woo.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
in my break, I went through Reiki attunement
Yeah.
because there were so many things that helped me on that like healing from burnout journey. Because I mean, like this statistic is something like 3 to 5 years to heal from burnout, which
Mm.
sounds so ridiculous, but I mean, I get it because you're in it.
Yeah.
But Reiki was one of them, just like because there's a lot with like your energy.
Hmm.
Um, and tarot card readings and looking at my astrology. It's just so fun to see like all those additional like guides to
Yeah.
say like, okay, what's actually here? What is it like what you were saying? Like what's coming up? What does this mean?
Yeah.
So
Like,
that was super helpful too.
yeah. I love all those kind of tools. I'm like, if it's not going to hurt me, I'm going to try it. So see what I get from it, see what I can
Yeah.
pluck from. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's so fun too. It's like I'm in this world with all these business owners, and a lot of times they're like, oh, that feels so out there and woo woo. But I said, like, even tarot cards, I'm like, I could have the same cards as you do, and I would take it in a completely different meaning.
Hmm.
So it's almost like coaching, where you're just like, okay, what does that mean? What does that mean to you? And you're pulling out of the person what the meaning is. It's
Hmm.
not a psychic saying tomorrow you're gonna die.
Right. Yeah. I don't think I would ever tell someone that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that brings me back to your coaching part of it, because I feel like, sometimes there can be the stigma about coaching is like, well, I already know what to do and I already know the questions I should ask myself. I already. But I know that I personally need a coach to walk me through those, to help me like implement them into my life in a way that I'm actually going to do it. So, can you tell me
Mhm.
a little bit more about what you do for your clients? Because I love this part of it.
Yeah. Um, exactly what you said. I think there's so many things that we know how to do it, but why don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Like we need that motivation, there's somebody to help us maybe give us some tools. And so that's what I do for my clients. Like I compare it to, being a woman that grew up in the 80s and the 90s, it like the culture of like diet culture,
Yeah.
right? I could tell you how many calories are in ranch dressing. I could tell you how many calories I'm supposed to have in a day, how much exercise I'm supposed to do. Do I do it? No. So I hired a personal trainer so
Yep.
that I know twice a week I'm going to the gym and I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to, because I will not do that in my house when she cancels.
Mhm.
So it's having that person for accountability. So that's a lot of what I do. Like when I work with people for, like, say, a 6 month container, we're meeting every 2 weeks. They're getting a little bit of homework in between. And in those sessions, we're really digging into the things that need to get them to that ultimate transformation and to move them forward. It's same. You could watch a million YouTube videos, but you don't have the person going, but what does that mean? And how does that make you feel? And where is that actually coming from? It's like doing the deeper digging, and pulling out the things from you. And I actually have a kind of like a scaled down version too of like, I literally just do accountability for people where we
Mhm.
meet once a month and I say, what would you like to be held accountable on? And
Yeah.
then the next month, it's like, did you do the thing you told me you
Yeah.
were going to do? Because so many of us are rule followers, especially in the entrepreneurship world. We're like, because I said I do this too, like with my own coach. I know we're meeting at noon. So at 10 o'clock that day, I'm going to make sure I get all the things done. But I got it done because had I
Mm.
not been meeting with that coach, I would have never done it and it would
Yeah.
have just sat. So,
Yeah. Well, I like that. And when you are working for yourself, it's just that much easier to push things off because you don't have someone else telling you. The
mhm,
accountability is really huge. I love that you do that. Hmm.
thanks. Yeah, because we're our own bosses. And that's like how the flexibility is nice, but sometimes the flexibility is too much.
Absolutely. I've been there and done that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Um, so what kind of people do you work with specifically?
So I'm typically working with women entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So it's people that are, several years into their business.
Hmm.
It's doing quote unquote well, but it's just not feeling right.
Hmm.
So, it's the people that are secretly miserable that don't want to tell anybody. That maybe their business is in a place where they're like, I know I want to get out and I don't know how to handle this emotionally, strategically, any of that. So it's really women who are stuck and they just need that help moving forward.
Yeah. That's another thing that I tend to love about coaching is you you tend to be the coach of the person that you needed. And I
Hmm.
really appreciate like that. Like I know what I share with my Reiki students is what I needed. And it sounds exactly like you could have used a you. But you learned all
Yeah.
of that and now you're bringing it to someone. I think that's really special.
Thank you. Yeah, I like to say I made all the mistakes so I can help people not make the same mistakes I did. Like,
Yeah.
let me tell you how not to do this.
I love that. Yeah. So this is something that I ask everybody when they come on my podcast, but how do you nurture yourself on a daily basis or a weekly basis? What are a couple things that you try to really put into your habits?
Yeah. I mean, I would like to say that I have this whole morning ritual and evening ritual, like I tell my clients to do. But the things that, so how I nurture myself is I walk my dog every day. We have a backyard. I could let her out in it to run around, but instead we walk in the morning after work. At night, not so much, but I have that time in nature with her to just kind of like relax. um, and another way I nurture myself is I allow myself to take naps. I used
Mhm.
to feel so guilty about that. But now I kind of changed the perspective of like, this is how I nurture myself. This is how I recharge. So if I need to lay down at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I do it. I don't beat myself up about it. And that's what I do. So yeah, there's
Yeah,
a bunch
I
of
love
other things too. Like,
yeah.
I go to a physical therapist every month to make sure that my body works. But
Mhm.
those are kind of my daily ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I love those. I haven't heard walking the dog yet, but I tell you, I get so much pleasure from walking my dogs. Luckily, I live in an area where I can let them free, so just watching them run around like crazy dogs makes me so happy in so many levels. And like you said,
Yeah.
in your body, you are getting fresh air, you're in nature. There's just so many things about walking your dog that is so good for yourself. So I love that.
Yeah. And she's so cute. So why would I not want to spend time with her?
Right, right. Totally, totally get that. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to put all your links down below so
Mhm.
people can reach out. And I hope that if anybody is running their own business or in a business and they need help, they reach out to you. I think the services that you provide as a coach are definitely needed in this industry. So thank you for that. And thank you for being here.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun.
Great, great. And thank you guys for listening. Thank you, my friends. Remember, choose yourself so then you can go back and choose other people like Amanda. And I will talk to you next week. I love you.